Addlestrop by Edward Thomas. Read for LibriVox.org by Lucy Perry. Yes, I remember Addlestrop. The name, because one afternoon of heat the express train drew up there, unwontedly. It was late June. The steam hissed. Someone cleared his throat. No one left and no one came on the bare platform. What I saw was Addlestrop, only the name, and willows, willow herb and grass, and meadowsweet, and haycocks dry, no whit less still and lonely fair than the high cloudlets in the sky. And for that minute a blackbird sang close by, and round him, mistier, farther and farther, all the birds of Oxfordshire and Gloucestershire. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Antigonish by William Hughes Mearns. Read for LibriVox.org by Dallin Clausen. Yesterday upon the stair I met a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. Oh, how I wish he'd go away. When I came home last night at 3, the man was waiting there for me. But when I looked around the hall, I couldn't see him there at all. Go away, don't come back any more. Go away, and please don't slam the door. Last night I saw upon the stair a little man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. Oh, how I wish he'd go away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Art by Herman Melville. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. In placid hours well pleased we dream of many a brave unbodied scheme, but form to lend pulsed life create what unlight things must meet and mate, a flame to melt, a wind to freeze, said patience, joyous energies, humility, yet pride and scorn, instinct and study, love and hate, audacity, reverence, these must mate, and fuse with Jacob's mystic heart, to wrestle with the angel, art. End of art.
Bright Star by John Keats. Read for LibriVox.org by Anne Cheng. Bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art, not in lone splendour hung aloft the night, and watching with eternal lids apart, like nature's patient sleepless eremite, the moving waters at their priest-like task of pure ablution round earth's human shores, or gazing on the new soft-fallen mask of snow upon the mountains and the moors. No, yet still steadfast, still unchangeable, pillowed upon my fair love's ripening breast, to feel for ever its soft fall and swell, awake for ever in a sweet unrest. Still, still to hear her tender taken breath, and so live ever, or else swoon to death. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Earthly Beauty from The Secret Rose Garden by Sadud Din Mahmud Shabistari. Read for LibriVox.org by Craig Campbell in Appleton, Wisconsin. Earthly Beauty. Whence the charm of a fair face? Not earthly beauty only can so allure us with its loveliness. Perchance we see in this, as in a cloudy mirror, the far faint reflect of the perfect face. And these deep feelings of delight and wonder can only issue from the one true beauty. For in divine perfection there is no other partner, nor is it all desire and lust that tempts men's hearts with longing. Evil appears but as the other side of truth. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Emperor of Ice Cream by Wallace Stevens. Read for LibriVox.org by Jameson Gressens. Call the roller of big cigars, the muscular one, and bid him whip, in kitchen cups, concupiscent curds. Let the wenches dawdle in such dress as they are used to wear, and let the boys bring flowers and last month's newspapers. Let B be the finale of scene. The only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. Take from the dresser of deal, lacking the 3 glass knobs, that sheet on which she embroidered fantails once, and spread it so as to cover her face. If her horny feet protrude, they come to show how cold she is, and dumb. Let the lamp affix its beam. The only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking by Emily Dickinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Savannah Harold. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one heart the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In Hospital by E. Nesbit. Read for LibriVox.org by Ruth Golding. Under the shadow of a hawthorn brake, where bluebells draw the sky down to the wood, where, amid brown leaves, the primroses awake, and hidden violets smell of solitude. Beneath green leaves, bright fluttered by the wing of fleeting, beautiful, immortal spring, I should have said, I love you, and your eyes have said, I too. The gods saw otherwise. For this is winter, and the London streets are full of soldiers from that far fierce fray where life knows death, and where poor Glory meets full face with shame, and weeps and turns away. And in the broken, trampled, foreign wood is horror and the terrible scent of blood. And love shines tremulous, like a drowning star, under the shadow of the wings of war. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In the Garret by Louisa May Alcott. Read for LibriVox.org by Abigail Bartels. 4 little chests, all in a row, dim with dust and worn by time, all fashioned and filled long ago by children now in their prime. 4 little keys hung side by side, with faded ribbons, brave and gay, when fastened there with childish pride long ago on a rainy day. 4 little names, one on each lid, carved out by a boyish hand, and underneath there lieth hid histories of the happy band, once playing here and pausing oft to hear the sweet refrain that came and went in the roof aloft in the falling summer rain. Meg, on the first lid, smooth and fair, I look in with loving eyes, for folded here with well-known care a goodly gathering lies, the record of a peaceful life, gifts to gentle child and girl, a bridal gown, lines to a wife, a tiny shoe, a baby curl. No toys in this first chest remain, for all are carried away in their old age to join again in another small Meg's play. Ah, happy mother, well I know you hear like a sweet refrain lullabies ever soft and low in the falling summer rain. Joe, on the next lid, scratched and worn, and within a motley store of headless dolls, of schoolbooks torn, birds and beasts that speak no more, spoils brought home from the fairy ground, only trod by youthful feet. dreams of a future never found, memories of a past still sweet. Half-writ poems, stories wild, April letters warm and cold, diaries of a willful child, hints of a woman early old, a woman in a lonely home, hearing like a sad refrain, "Be worthy, love, and love will come," in the falling summer rain. My Beth, the dust is always swept. My Beth, the dust is always swept from the lid that bears your name, as if by loving eyes that wept, by careful hands that often came. Death canonized for us one saint, ever less human than divine, and still we lay, with tender plaint, relics in this household shrine. The silver bell, so seldom rung, the little cap which last she wore, the fair dead Catherine that hung by angels born above her door, the song she sang without lament in her prison house of pain, forever are they sweetly blent with the falling summer rain. Upon the last lid's polished field, legend now both fair and true, a gallant knight bears on his shield Amy in letters gold and blue. Within lie snoods that bound her hair, slippers that have danced their last, faded flowers laid by with care, fans whose airy toils are past, gay valentines, all ardent flames, trifles that have borne their part in girlish hopes and fears and shames, the record of a maiden heart. Now learning fairer, truer spells, hearing like a blithe refrain the silver sound of bridal bells in the falling summer rain. 4 little chests, all in a row, dim with dust and worn by time, 4 women taught by weal and woe to love and labor in their prime. 4 sisters, parted for an hour, none lost, one only gone before, made by love's immortal power, nearest and dearest evermore. Oh, when these hidden stores of ours lie open to the Father's sight, may they be rich in golden hours, deeds that show fairer for the light, lives whose brave music long shall ring like a spirit-stirring strain, souls that shall gladly soar and sing in the long sunshine after rain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lullaby by Louisa May Alcott. Read for LibriVox.org by Mariah. Balboa Island, California, November 2009. Now the day is done. Now the shepherd sun drives his white flocks from the sky. Now the flowers rest on their mother's breast, hushed by her low lullaby. Now the glowworms glance, now the fireflies dance, under fir boughs green and high, and the western breeze to the forest trees chants a tuneful lullaby. Now mid shadows deep falls blessed sleep, like dew from the summer sky, and the whole earth dreams in the moon's soft beams, while the night breathes a lullaby. Now, birdlings, rest in your wind-rocked nest, unscared by the owl's shrill cry, for with folded wings little briar swings and singeth your lullaby. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On Seeing the Elgin Marbles for the First Time by John Keats. Read for LibriVox.org. My spirit is too weak. Mortality weighs heavily on me like unwilling sleep, and each imagined pinnacle and steep of godlike hardship tells me I must die, like a sick eagle looking at the sky. Yet 'tis a gentle luxury to weep, that I have not the cloudy winds to keep fresh for the opening of the morning's eye. Such dimmed conceived glories of the brain bring round the heart an indescribable feud. So do these wonders a most dizzy pain, that mingles Grecian grandeur with the rude wasting of old time, with a billowy main, a sun, a shadow of a magnitude. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On Virtue by Phyllis Wheatley. Read for LibriVox.org by S. L. Bickley. O thou bright jewel, in my aim I strive to comprehend thee, thine own words declare, wisdom is higher than a fool can reach. I cease to wonder, and no more attempt thine height to explore, or fathom thy profound. But, O my soul, sink not into despair. Virtue is near thee, and with gentle hand would now embrace thee, hovers o'er thine head. Fain would the heaven-born soul with her converse, then seek, then court her for her promised bliss. Auspicious Queen, thine heavenly pinions spread, and lead celestial chastity along. Lo! now her sacred retinue descends, arrayed in glory, from the orbs above. Attend me, Virtue, through my youthful years. O leave me not to the false joys of time, but guide my steps to endless life and bliss. Greatness or goodness, say what I shall call thee, to give me an higher appellation still. Teach me a better strain, a nobler lay, O thou enthroned with cherubs in the realms of day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Patience by D. H. Lawrence. Read for LibriVox.org by Dallin Clausen. A wind comes from the north, blowing little flocks of birds like spray across the town, and a train, roaring forth, rushes stampeding down, with cries and flying curds of steam, out of the darkening north, whither I turn and set like a needle steadfastly, waiting ever to get the news that she is free, but ever fixed, as yet, to the load of her agony. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Hill. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in '75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friend, "If the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church tower as a single light. One if by land, and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to arm." Then he said good night, and with muffled oar silently rowed to the Charlestown shore. Just as the moon rose o'er the bay, where swinging wide at her moorings lay the Somerset, British man-of-war, a phantom ship, with each mast and spar across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide. Meanwhile, his friend through alley and street wanders and watches with eager ears, till the silence around him he hears the muster of men at the barrack door, the sound of arms and the tramp of feet, and the measured tread of the grenadiers, marching down to their boats on the shore. Then he climbed the tower of the old North Church by the wooden stairs with stealthy tread to the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on the sombre rafters that round him made masses and moving shapes of shade. By the trembling ladder, steep and tall, to the highest window in the wall, where he paused to listen and look down a moment on the roofs of the town, and the moonlight flowing over all. Beneath in the churchyard lay the dead, in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still that he could hear, like a sentinel's tread, the watchful night wind as it wend, creeping along from tent to tent, and seeming to whisper, "All is well." A moment only he feels the spell of the place and the hour, and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead. For suddenly all his thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the bay, a line of black that blends and floats on the rising tide like a bridge of boats. Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with a heavy stride, on the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse aside, now he gazed at the landscape far and near, then impetuous, stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle's girth. But mostly he watched with eagle search the belfry tower of the Old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and sombre and still. And lo, as he looks on the belfry's height, a glimmer, and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle, the bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till full on his sight a second lamp in the belfry burns. A hurry of hooves in a village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath from the pebbles in passing a spark, struck out by a steed flying fearless and fleet. That was all, and yet, through the gloom and the light, the fate of a nation was riding that night. And the spark struck out by the steed in his flight kindled the land into flame with its heat. He has left the village and mountain the steep, and beneath him tranquil and broad and deep is the mystic, meeting the ocean tides. And under alders that skirt its edge, now soft on the sand, now loud on the ledge, is heard the tramp of his steed as he rides. It was 12 by the village clock, when he crossed the bridge into Medford town. He heard the crowing of the cock, and the barking of the farmer's dog, and felt the damp of the river fog that rises after the sun goes down. It was 1 by the village clock, when he galloped into Lexington. He saw the gilded weathercock swim in the moonlight as he passed, and the meeting-house windows, black and bare, gaze at him with a spectral stare, as if they already stood aghast at the bloody work that they would look upon. It was 2 by the village clock, when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the bleating of the flock, and the twitter of the birds among the trees, and felt the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadow brown. And one was safe and asleep in his bed, who at the bridge would be first to fall, who that day would be lying dead, pierced by a British musket ball. You know the rest, in books you have read, how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball, from behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, then crossing the fields to emerge again, under the trees at the turn of the road, and pausing only to fire and load. So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm, to every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance, and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore, for borne on the night wind of the past, throughout all our history to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril of need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed, and the midnight message of Paul Revere. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Practical Joker by W. S. Gilbert. Read for LibriVox.org by Ruth Golding. Oh, what a fund of joy jocund lies hid in harmless hoaxes! What keen enjoyment springs from cheap and simple things! What deep delight from sources trite inventive humour coaxes, that pain and trouble brew for everyone but you! Gunpowder placed inside its waist improves a mild Havana. Its unexpected flash burns eyebrows and moustache. When people dine, no kind of wine beats Ipecacuanha, but common sense suggests you keep it for your guests. Then naught annoys the organ boys like throwing red-hot coppers, and much amusement bides in common butter slides, and stringy snares across the stairs cause unexpected croppers. Coal scuttles, recollect, produce the same effect. A man possessed of common sense need not invest at great expense. It does not call for pocket deep. These jokes are all extremely cheap. If you commence with 18 pence, it's all you'll have to pay. you may command a pleasant and a most instructive day. A good spring gun breeds endless fun, and makes men jump like rockets, and turnip heads on posts make very decent ghosts. Then hornets sting like anything when placed in waistcoat pockets. Burnt cork and walnut juice are not without their use. No fun compares with easy chairs whose seats are stuffed with needles. Live shrimps their patience tax when put down people's backs. Surprising, too, what one can do with a pint of fat black beetles, and treacle on a chair will make a Quaker swear. Then sharp tin tacks and pocket squirts and cobbler's wax for ladies' skirts, and slimy slugs on bedroom floors, and water jugs on open doors. Prepared with these cheap properties, amusing tricks to play upon a friend, a man may spend a most delightful day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Prayer on Going into My House by W. B. Yeats. Read for LibriVox.org by Kalinda. A Prayer on Going into My House. God grant a blessing on this tower and cottage, and on my heirs, if all remain unspoiled. No table or chair or stool not simple enough for shepherd lads in Galilee. And grant that I myself for portions of the year may handle nothing and set eyes on nothing but what the great and passionate have used throughout so many varying centuries. We take it for the norm. Yet should I dream Sinbad the sailor's brought a painted chest or image from beyond the Lodestone Mountain, that dream is a norm. And should some limb of the devil destroy the view by cutting down an ash that shades the road, or setting up a cottage planned in a government office, shorten his life, manacle his soul upon the Red Sea bottom. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Rain at Night by Helen Hoyt. Read for LibriVox.org by Corey Samuel. Are you awake? Do you hear the rain? How rushingly it strikes upon the ground, and on the roof, and the wet window panel. Sometimes I think it is a comfortable sound, making us feel how safe and snug we are, closing us off in this dark, away from the dark outside. The rest of the world seems dim tonight, mysterious and far. Oh, there is no world left, only darkness, darkness stretching wide and full of the blind rain's immeasurable fall. How nothing must we seem unto this ancient thing, how nothing unto the earth, and we so small. Oh, wake, wake, do you not feel my hands cling? One day it will be raining as it rains tonight, the same wind blow, raining and blowing on this house wherein we lie, but you and I, we shall not hear, we shall not ever know. O love, I had forgot that we must die. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Recollection by Anne Reeve Aldrich. Read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Alkerton. November 3rd, 2009. How can it be that I forget the way he phrased my doom, when I recall the arabesques that carpeted the room? How can it be that I forget his look in mine that hour, when I recall I wore a rose and still can smell the flower? How can it be that I forget those words that were his last, when I recall the tune a man was whistling as he passed. These things are what we keep from life's supremest joy or pain, for memory locks her chaff in bins and throws away the grain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Reluctance by Robert Frost. Read for LibriVox.org by Savannah Harold. Out through the fields and the woods, and over the walls I have wended. I have climbed the hills of view, and looked at the world, and ascended. I have come by the highway home, and lo, it is ended. The leaves are all dead on the ground, save those that the oak is keeping, to ravel them one by one, and let them go scraping and creeping out over the crusted snow, when others are sleeping. And the dead leaves lie huddled and still, no longer blown hither and thither. The last lone aster is gone, the flowers of the witch hazel wither. The heart is still aching to seek, but the feet question, whither? Ah, when to the heart of man was it ever less than a treason to go with the drift of things, to yield with a grace to reason, and bow and accept the end of a love or a season? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Riot by Jamilio Bradford. Read by Chris Caron. Recording for LibriVox.org. You may think my life is quiet. I find it full of change, an ever-varied diet, as piquant as 'tis strange. Wild thoughts are always flying, like sparks across my brain, now flashing out, now dying, to kindle soon again. Fine fancies set me thrilling, as subtle monsters creep before thy sight, unwilling, they even haunt my sleep. One broad, perpetual riot enfolds me night and day. You think my life is quiet? You don't know what you say. End of recording. This poem is in the public domain.
Solitude by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Abigail Bartels. Laugh and the world laughs with you. Weep and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has trouble enough of its own. Sing and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. The echoes bound to a joyful sound, but shrink from voicing care. Rejoice and men will seek you. Grieve and they turn and go. They want full measure of all your pleasure, but they do not need your woe. Be glad and your friends are many. Be sad and you lose them all. There are none to decline your nectared wine, but alone you must drink life's gall. Feast and your halls are crowded. Fast and the world goes by. Succeed and give, and it helps you live, but no man can help you die. There is room in the halls of pleasure for a long and lordly train, but one by one we must all file on through the narrow aisles of pain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Tears, Idle Tears, from The Princess, by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Read for LibriVox.org by Michael Wolff. Tears, idle tears, I know not what they mean. Tears from the depth of some divine despair rise in the heart and gather to the eyes, in looking on the happy autumn fields, and thinking of the days that are no more. Fresh as the first beam glittering on a sail that brings our friends up from the underworld, Sad is the last which reddens over one that sinks with all we love below the verge. So sad, so fresh, the days that are no more. Ah, sad and strange, as in dark summer dawns the earliest pipe of half-awakened birds to dying ears, when unto dying eyes the casement slowly grows a glimmering square. So sad, so strange, the days that are no more. Dear as remembered kisses after death, and sweet as those by hopeless fancy feigned on lips that are for others, deep as love, deep as first love, and wild with all regret. O death in life, the days that are no more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
When a Man Hath No Freedom to Fight For at Home, by George Gordon, Lord Byron. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. When a man hath no freedom to fight for at home, let him combat for that of his neighbors. Let him think of the glories of Greece and of Rome, and get knocked on the head for his labors. To do good for mankind is the chivalrous plan, and as always is nobly requited. Then battle for freedom wherever you can, and, if not shot or hanged, you'll get knighted. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.